Hi golfers, Rob Cheney here from GOLFTEC Singapore. This week's video we're going to discuss bounce angle on wedges, what it is, why it's useful, and a really awesome drill at the end of this video to help you guys train perfect low point control and to make great contact every single time.
Swing. That was a good swing.
So let's start by discussing what bounce is, what it's there for, and how it can help you. It's a feature that's been on wedges for many, many years. It's become quite popular to discuss different bounce angles and different bounce amounts. Let's first of all talk about what it is. So you've got the leading edge of the golf club here at the front, and then behind that you've got the sole of the golf club. So the angle that's created between the lowest point of the sole here and the leading edge is described as the bounce angle. And as I say, that will vary from wedge to wedge. Different turf conditions and different ground conditions and sand conditions will work better with different degrees of bounce. But ultimately the bounce is there to really help the golf club's interaction with the turf. So as that club's coming down towards the ball and you're about to make contact, knowing how to land the bounce and land the sole of the club onto the ground is a skill that separates great short game players from the poorest ones. Over the years of coaching, I've seen many different ways that people try to manage the low point control or the contact with their shots around the green. Some successfully, unfortunately many unsuccessfully. And learning to use this bounce and land this sole of the club on the ground correctly to control the low point and the contact of the ground on the ground and the height of the arc of your swing, so not going into the ground too deep or not topping the ball, would be a skill that you would want to develop if you're trying to improve your short game. So let's get onto the mat now and discuss some ideas behind how you can do that. Before we get started on here, I just want to share with you the delivery of my brand new wedge from Titleist Southeast Asia. This new Vokey Wedge Works 50-degree raw grind. This thing is so cool and I'm really looking forward to getting out and using it. Perfectly personalized and embossed with the hashtag gridlife on the base there of the back of the wedge. This is a really cool piece of kit. I think one of the things that you guys should all consider if you haven't already is the makeup of your wedges in your bag, how they fit your style of swing and style of delivery, and also making sure that you have your gaps and your gapping correct in your set. Something that I certainly see very, very frequently here on a week-to-week basis are golfers who've purchased maybe new clubs, new irons recently, and because the strength of all the irons in recent years has got so much stronger, the lofts have gotten so much stronger so that people think they're hitting the ball further, it leaves a really big gap oftentimes at the bottom end of the bag where the wedges are. There's either not enough loft options, so there's too many gaps in there, or they've got multiple wedges that have similar lofts. So one thing I would recommend, regardless of what you take from this video from a technical point of view, go and see your local fitter, go and get checked out for your wedges, make sure that they're suitable in terms of loft, in terms of gapping, and in terms of how you deliver that club into the turf. So in my world, using the bounce is learning to deliver the bottom of this wedge in the correct spot on the ground. And something that I've often described and demonstrated for students when outside on the grass is my ability to hit chip shots from the putting green surface without leaving any divot at all. And what that speaks of and speaks to is the ability to control the landing point or the low point of this bounce. So putting this sole of this golf club on the ground in exactly the right place, both from a back and forward point of view, so not hitting the ground too far back, not hitting the ground too far forwards, but also from an up and down point of view, so not swinging the arc of this club above the ground too high and topping the ball, okay, and not hitting, not lowering the arc here, not pushing the arc too far down, and consequently catching the ground before the ball. So the height of the low point, okay, the height of the arc is equally as important as the location back and forward of where this club hits the ground. But before you head out to your putting green and probably get kicked off your golf course for taking divots out of the green, this exercise is an exceptionally good one for helping you train that low point control and training the location and the landing of the bounce of that wedge on the ground. Take a coin, this is a 20-cent coin here in Singapore, place it on your mat at home, you can do this on the carpet, and you're going to take your wedge, and you're going to rest your wedge on top of the coin. And the goal here, as you swing, is to clip the coin as you land the wedge and then finish your swing as normal. Obviously you want to avoid hitting the ground in a different point to the coin, and we also want to avoid missing the coin altogether. We want to make contact with it. And the bottom of the wedge on the coin like this is demonstrating good control of the low point. And it's doing so in a way that's taking away a lot of technical thought, okay? Sometimes golfers get caught up in exactly how they should stand, and of course in some cases that's important that people check that. They worry about, should the shaft be too far forward or back? Should the club face be open or closed? Should I cock my wrists or should I keep my arms straight? So many of those questions lead to confusion, and this drill takes away a lot of that noise and that clutter and just allows you to focus on the task of making contact with the coin on the ground. That is not as easy as it looks. I'd like you guys to give that a try and post your comments and your experience of that drill in the comments section down below. I'd love to hear how you get on with that, whether you found it easy or difficult, and whether or not that's going to improve your chipping or your pitching control out on the course. For many of you, that first drill and that first exercise will be enough to keep you occupied and amused for a reasonably long period of time to train that skill. And that in itself can really, really help. I saw a more advanced version of this drill this week on Instagram by a PGA Tour player by the name of, former PGA Tour player by the name of Brett Rumford. Some of you will be very familiar with that name, others maybe not so much, but Brett Rumford was or is probably one of the greatest short game players in the world. I've watched his bunker play. It's phenomenal. His wedge game is outstanding. You should go and check out his Instagram if you haven't already seen it. This drill is an advanced version of what I've already shown you. So instead of one coin on the ground, he's placed two coins side by side. And in Brett's demonstration, he places the wedge on the back coin and hits or clips the front coin. If you thought the first drill was difficult, you're going to find this one much harder. I'm going to have a go at this. It's not easy. But again, if you want to really tighten up and improve the control of your low point, land that bounce on the ground correctly, and ultimately improve your short game considerably, these are the types of drills that are going to help you develop that skill. That's not easy, and I wouldn't want to have to do that too often. I think I had a go at that off camera earlier. I failed as often as I succeeded at that. It's actually quite a tricky drill, and it's one that actually I'm excited about because I can see my own deficiency in my ability to really control the landing of this bounce, and it's something that I'm going to work towards improving in my own game. And finally, once you get the sense of how to land that bounce and land the sole of the club on the ground, that's the feeling that you transfer and take to the ball. And the one thing I would say is if you, the application of this with the ball is significantly easier than doing it with just the coin. So training with that coin and hopefully helping you to build that skill. Once I step up here and hit some pitch shots, this feels extremely comfortable and easy to do once I've mastered the ability to clip the coin. I'm just keeping the same sense that as I'm coming down, I'm trying to land the bottom, the base of the wedge there on that coin and let the club come back away from the ground. The bounce is helping me to do that. I'm just going to clip the coin, and by definition, I'm just going to clip the ball away nicely. That feels really comfortable. It just feels like a really nice interaction with the turf. Very, very little divot, if any. Probably just bruising or scratching the grass very gently. As I said to you, I've demonstrated this multiple times from a putting green surface, hitting pitch and chip shots without any damage or any marks left on the green. And that's really where you want to get to, because if you can control the landing point of this club and the sole of this club to that extent, if you have that much precision in terms of how you land this club and get the bounce to just bruise or brush the surface, you can really chip from any surface. You don't have to rely on having a good lie to get away with it. If your ball's sitting on a really tight surface, I know that's a very scary situation for many of you. And the reason it's scary is because your ability to land this wedge in the right place isn't good enough. So this drill with the coin can really define and develop that skill of yours to control the low point and hit perfectly struck pitch shots every time. Really solid. Give it a try, guys. Get yourself a coin, get yourself off the carpet or take it to the driving range on a mat and see how good you are at landing that bounce, landing that sole on the coin. Guys, thank you for watching the video. Get yourselves down in the comments. Let me know if you've had a wedge fitting, if you've been through that experience and what it was like, whether you found and discovered things about your wedges that needed some improvement, whether you've found the ultimate and optimal bounce options for your own short game. And also let me know if that drill helps. Obviously, I'd love to hear from you if you've tried that drill, take it to the range or take it to your backyard, have a go at striking the coin. What's your success rate like? How does that compare with your short game ability? If you're not particularly good at short game and you struggle with contact, the likelihood is that that drill might be quite difficult for you, so it'd be a good one for you to take time and practice. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope you found it useful. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do consider clicking that like and subscribe button. It helps to grow the channel and it helps more people to see the content. If you have any more questions about this video, do jump in the comment section and let me know. Until next time, guys, hope that video was fun and useful for you, and I'll see you next week for another one.